Now I want you to listen in the low end for when I engage that passive bass boost, okay? So listen. Pretty amazing, right? I want to show you how to install this pretty amazing mod. I came up with this mod recently to solve a problem that lots of my customers are having with their Strats, and it only requires a few parts and it's a simple, easy wire up. Now, personally, I love all the Strat tones, but so often I'm replacing customers' bridge pickups because they just want a meatier tone. They'll put something in like an overwound single coil or a humbucker or something like that. The problem with that is it's a fairly expensive fix, and you also lose that really awesome bridge pickup Strat sound. So I think I've come up with something pretty original. Not only does it solve that problem, but you get to keep the stock sound of the guitar because you don't need to replace any pickups, and it's a really easy wire up and there's only a few parts needed. There are so many really cool guitar mods out there, and you name it, I've probably installed it in one of my customers' guitars. But to be honest, they're not always that musical, and they definitely can have their downsides. I know this one does sound too good to be true, so let me explain. Now, obviously we're going to be installing this mod today, but just like all my videos, I'd prefer it if you understood the concept so you could adapt the mod to whatever you like and make up your own sort of custom modifications yourself around this sort of concept. Even though this might sound super complex, it's actually very simple, so just trust me. Now, there are two parts to this. First, we need to revoice the middle pickup and shift its resonant peak, just like in those Green Gizmo videos. So this creates a passive frequency boost in a frequency range of our choosing. We're going to use a really low frequency band. So if we look at a pickup, like a typical pickup frequency curve, and just say it goes kind of up and then there's this kind of resonant peak and it goes down. This here is the resonant peak of that pickup, and it's the boosted frequency range that gives the pickup its kind of characteristic voicing and basically how it sounds. Now, if you add capacitors in parallel, as we've learned in those other videos, it shifts this resonant peak lower and lower, right? Now, if we add tons of capacitance, like way more than we should, it shifts it way down here into this low frequency range. And that is what we want to add with our bridge pickup to create that sort of bass boost. So it'll be boosting frequencies in this low end. So what we need to do then is we need to run the bridge and middle pickups in series. Now, that is a pretty common mod. Okay, so normally when you've got two single coils, there's one single coil and there's another single coil, clearly boutique ones. Right, and then you're running them into your switch in parallel. They're kind of wired like this. That's a parallel arrangement, like in positions 2 and 4 on your switch. So your both pickups are on at the same time, but they're kind of running together. But if we want to run these in series, just say we've got there's our middle pickup and here's our bridge pickup, right? Okay, so here is the middle pickup, the bridge pickup's hot wire that's going out, and then the ground goes and connects to the middle pickup's hot wire, and then the ground of this middle pickup just goes to ground. And that's how you run them in series. So one is feeding the other one, but this one here is going to have a capacitor in parallel with it, so it'll only be affecting this particular pickup. Now, when I wire this up, I'm going to use I'd say an extreme value just because I want to really show the effect. But remember, this is absolutely tweakable. You can sort of change it exactly how you see fit. You don't have to add so much low end, but I'm going to try and boost this up as much as I can just to make it really clear in the demos how much bass boost we're getting, even though maybe it's not a tone I would so much go for. Now, if you're a Fourth Wall Plus member over there, I'm going to show you a whole bunch of variations to this mod and a few tweaks. I'm also giving away a free wiring diagram, and we'll run through that wiring diagram in a cool little extra video. Okay, so what are we going to need today? Well, we're going to need a push-pull pot. You're going to need a bit of hookup wire. We're going to need a 220 nanofarad capacitor, and that is pretty much it. This here is just a 0 ohm resistor. It's just really a fancy piece of wire. Okay, now the cool thing about this mod is that you're just going to leave your guitar wired up stock. You don't have to do anything with the wiring apart from lift the bridge pickup ground. Okay, so the bridge pickup ground is going to go to this center lug here, and then your 220 nanofarad capacitor is going to also be connected to the center lug and this bottom lug here, and then from the bottom lug we're going to be joining that to ground. I'm doing that through this 0 ohm resistor. Now this side here, this blue wire, is going to go to exactly where your middle hot wire connects to that 5-way switch. So that, my friends, is it. That is the entire mod. Everything else stays stock, so when this is in, when this is not pulled, the bridge ground is just connected directly to ground here. So those are connected together. This one's just floating in the air. When you pop this out, your bridge ground is going to be then connected to the hot wire of your middle pickup, which is then going to go in series through the middle pickup to ground. At that exact point, you're going to have a 220 nanofarad cap that goes to ground as well. So that's going to add that capacitance in parallel with that middle pickup, which is then going to revoice that middle pickup or shift that resonant peak really low. I think around about 100 hertz, it's going to shift it down to, depending on your pickups, and that's going to give you a bass boost in that frequency range, which is just going to be added onto the bridge pickup's current sound. So you're really going to notice it. Now, this for me is a bit of an extreme value. You'll definitely be able to hear it in the examples. I really wanted to be able to show exactly what this is doing, that it's boosting those bass frequencies. I'd probably use a different value, and you can play around with different values. I mean, I'm definitely going to talk about that on my fourth wall page. So yeah, you'll definitely notice that in the demos coming up, there is maybe a bit of an excessive amount of bass, but I really wanted to show the power of this mod and how much potential it's got. But yeah, for me, I would probably use a little bit of a different value. So we're going to run through a few different tones. Now, first up, I've got this clean tone. Now, I want you to listen in the low end for when I engage that passive bass boost, okay? So listen. Pretty amazing, right? I'll play through a few chords. Now, the great thing about this mod is that it is tweakable and it is adaptable, so you can use it in a whole bunch of different situations. We're only applying it to that bridge pickup today. Right, same deal now. We've got a bit of an edge of breakup sound. So this is the stock pickup. Pick up back in. Definitely a little more noticeable for me in the room with that sound because of the compression factor of that distortion, or that little bit of edge of breakup coming in. It sort of evens everything out, so you do notice that bottom end a bit more. So if I just click this in and out on a G, you can really hear that quite easily. Okay, so now we've got heavier distortion sound. Let's hear it again on just a sustained chord. It's pretty obvious how well that actually works. I love that it's just a passive boost. You don't have to have any circuitry in your guitar to get this to sound great, and you can tweak it to how you like. It's a very, very cool mod. Hey guys, I'm just editing this up now, and I just realized I forgot to mention those middle positions. Once you engage that mod, all those middle positions are the voicing of the middle pickup with that capacitor in parallel. So it can sound pretty dark, those three middle positions. And that is the only downside. You've got the neck position, which is absolutely stock, and then you've got that modified bridge position. If you're one of those guys like me that uses neck and middle pretty much exclusively, it's an absolute moot point. Plus, you can just push that pot in and get the stock sounds anyway. But I just thought, man, I should mention that and chuck this into the video. I would absolutely love to know if you install this one. So please let me know in the comments. I feel like this fills a really big need for a lot of guitarists out there. And I'm absolutely stoked with this mod. and how it came out and how customizable it is. I will definitely talk about that a lot more over at my fourth wall page. But anyway, guys, have a great week and we'll catch you in the next video.